The purpose of this video is to provide you with a review of what will be on your Godfather Part 1 exam that will be opening up later this week, as well as to give you hints as to the best way to prepare for that exam. By way of background, I've traditionally had this session in a face-to-face class, and my experience over the last few semesters is that this class was typically a very short class, lasting only 15 or 20 minutes, since most students have reviewed the Godfather Part 1 movie at least once, if not twice, and therefore were more interested in the general makeup of the exam. And so my thought this semester was, rather than asking you to drive to school and sit in a class that most likely would be pretty short, I would offer this video as an alternative. Before I go any further, I would like to mention that I teach two sections of this class, and if any of you are interested in attending in a face-to-face meeting, my other section is available on Wednesday evening beginning at 6 p.m. in the business building, and I've included the room number in the announcements. So let me start by talking a little bit about the makeup of the Godfather exam. The exam itself will be 100 points and will have two parts. The first part will consist of 10 multiple choice questions. Each of those questions will be worth 3 points. The second part of the exam will consist of 7 famous quotes from The Godfather, and those type of questions will be a short answer response. Each of those 7 questions will be worth 10 points. So again, the multiple choice portion will be worth 3 points each, or 30 points, and the short answer portion will be worth 70 points, for a total of 100 points. Let me talk a little bit about each section. The multiple choice section will be very similar, but it will not be a repeat of the questions that you took in the Godfather quizzes. So it will be similar in the sense that it will cover, at least most of the questions will cover specific scenes that were in the Godfather Part 1 movie. But again, please be aware that I will not be repeating questions that were on the first 2 quizzes. The second part, which is the short answer part, again, I'll give you 7 famous quotes, and what I'm going to ask you to do is to apply them and explain them in a business environment. A couple of important points to note on these short answer questions. I'm going to limit the response for each question to what I call a tweet-like response of 140 characters. So therefore, concentrate on what the key words would be that you would like to use to explain that quote in a business environment. Let me give you an example. One famous quote that I'll paraphrase from The Godfather is, "I'm going to make him an offer that he can't refuse." The answer for that would be something along the lines that in a business environment, that would mean that either the risk is so great or the reward is so great that it would encourage an individual to take a certain action that is being recommended. And it's that simple. So again, for each of those 7 short answer questions, they will consist of a quote from The Godfather, and most of these are very famous quotes, and it would ask you to apply those to a business situation. The way they'll be graded is I have a bank of words that over the last 4 or 5 years, students have come up with to answer these questions correctly. If the words or a word that you respond to in your short answer matches that, you'll receive a full credit. If it does not, initially, and I say this again, initially, you would receive a 0 from the online exam. But I will individually go through each of the exams and look for any questions that you get incorrect to see if either you found a new way of responding to it where you deserve full credit, or maybe possibly can even receive partial credit. So what's important to understand is the first grade that you get on this exam will not necessarily be your final grade. So now let me talk about a little bit in terms of the best way to prepare for the exam. I would begin by watching the Godfather movie at least once, if not twice, and if possible, put the subtitles on so that it's clear to you what the comments are. There are many characters and many scenes in the movie. Let me share with you some suggestions on who you should concentrate on. Those characters that would be most important would be Michael Corleone, Luke Gabrazzi, Sonny, Tom Hagen, and Clemenza. So focus on those 5 characters and the parts of the movie where they're featured. There are also scenes that I think would be beneficial if you focused on. They would include the wedding scene in the beginning of the movie, the scene where the Godfather and his family meets with Sollozzo to discuss drugs, and starting from that scene, everything through the Godfather Part 1 movie, ending with Michael taking revenge on Sollozzo and on the police chief. And then finally, one final scene that I think would be important is focusing on Michael returning to America from Italy. So concentrate on those characters and those scenes. It makes up a majority of the exam, so it won't be 100%, but it will make up a majority of the questions on the exam. Concentrate on those characters that I previously mentioned. Watch the movie in total so that you're familiar with any other parts of the movie that might come up. And also be prepared. There are probably 1 or 2 questions on business concepts that you have learned elsewhere in your career at UTSA, and being able to apply those concepts to the Godfather movie. Again, good luck on the exam. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, or again, you can certainly attend the class that I have for my Section 1, which is Wednesday evening beginning at 6 p.m. Thank you.